Alright, so initially this was going to be a video that I want to make in response to the controversy surrounding one of Art Fight's roles. If you know, you know. I don't feel like making a whole goddamn YouTube video about this. But you know, the controversy has since died down, and I thought, okay, I'll probably gonna make this like a special page on my website and just post it there and, you know, like, just post it when the event is over, basically. However, during some point in this month, I have saw some folks I am familiar with just like stress themselves out, and like Art Fight was kind of a major factor. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm making this a YouTube video again, fuck it. But I will say that some of the folks I'm referring to are alright now, just to be clear, yeah. I do want to preface this by saying that while I am not as fully active as I wanted to be, especially compared to how I used to be active, I still like participating in Art Fight. Sure, I may have a couple of gripes of how the site and the event is run. One resolved, kinda, but the other not so resolved. But overall, I still like drawing art for other people. That said, I know that there's some people that are like stressed out about Art Fight, and heck, some people in some circles of mine just fell out of love with Art Fight, or just art gifting / trading events in general. Hell, I would not be surprised if some of the people that are still participating are starting to fall out of love for Art Fight due to a number of factors. So, as a way to have fun artistically, while also giving some folks other options, I have compiled a list of other types of artistic events. Some of which may include more than just drawing. There are some that may sound weird on paper, but I'll try my best to explain to the best of my abilities, so yeah. Now, without further ado, let's start! First one on the chopping block is the Secret Santas and other secret art gifting events. This is something I am the most familiar with. I'd say that events like these are for people who like gifting art for, well, other people, but don't really want to be competitive, you know what I'm saying? Now, for those that are living under a rock and don't even know what they are, Secret Santas are basically a thing around the December time, and a bit of November, where you're assigned to give somebody in secret, basically. And the person who receives your gift will receive it during the date of Christmas. In the case of online art communities, well, you practically draw for another artist in secret, really. This is something that has been common during the days of like old forums and DeviantArt groups. Though I will say, I think these days they're very much likely hosted in Discord servers since forums are not as frequently used as they used to be, and DA has continued to shit the bed. Also, I will say that there are other events that are kind of similar to Secret Santa. In some cases, they're just events that are dedicated to other holidays like Valentine's Day, Halloween, and hell, I think I remember seeing one for April Fool's Day, actually. Though, of course, events like these don't really have like a specific holiday theme to them, if you catch my drift. I would say that it's best to look into the Toy House forums for this, but I know that forums can be a little bit messy at points, so yeah, I say if you don't really want to go knees deep into the forums, it's probably best to host one yourself. Whether you want to advertise the events for like other people outside of your circles to join, or just leave it to your tight-knit circles, is definitely your prerogative. I will say that the reason why I'm all too familiar with Secret Santas is because I remember hosting a lot of them myself, thanks to the 8 years of doing this for the Fanime community circles since 2018. So yeah, you could probably say I have a little bit of a personal bias in favor of events like Secret Santa. Ho ho ho. Next one is Original Character Tournaments, or OCTs. Now this is for people who are more competitive. Now, for those not in the know, an original character tournament is a type of competition that is popular within websites like DeviantArt. Basically, it's just what it sounds like, a tournament between artists where they had to battle with their completely original characters through artistic expression. Usually, this is through comics, but occasionally there's some included other mediums like animation and literature. Whoever wins via the judges' votes becomes the canon storyline of the tournament. So yeah, in short, this is a tournament arc, but for OCs that you and other artists create and roleplay with a lot of artistic expressions. And judging by the description, yes, this was common back in DeviantArt's golden years. You can probably guess of why they're not as common now. Right. Now, unlike Secret Santas and events similar to it, I am uncertain if any OCTs are hosted in Discord servers. I think it's also probably due to the fact that, like, I don't personally go out to find my way to, you know, find some of them because I never properly joined one. The only reason I know about the Secret Santas, like, existing in servers is because, well, the Toy House forums like advertising them, especially around Christmas time. However, I don't really want to assume that they aren't around anymore. However, if I cannot find them anywhere, then either I may host one myself, or I'll probably have like one of my friends host an OCT because I feel like they would have been a better judge than me. Alright, now here's something that's a little bit, like, odd. Redesigning events. So, admittedly, I kind of made the other half of this kind of the fuck up because, I don't know how to go about with, like, explaining the other half of it, but the first one, I could probably say that it is a thing. What the hell do I mean by this? Well, I feel that there's kind of a double meaning when I say redesign events. The first type of redesigning events is that you design your friends/viewers OCs. It is a little bit self-explanatory. You ask one of the three groups to like send in their OCs, and you get to redesign them. And the second half of this, the one that I kind of made the fuck up, is that you get your friends/fans/viewers to redesign one of your OCs. So you know, this is kind of the inverse of the first meaning. So instead of you doing redesigns for other artists' OC, it's the other artist redesigning one of your OCs. Regardless of which path you want to go for, I say it's kind of the case of, you know, bringing in the fun of redesigning characters, which I know a lot of other artists love doing. Now, in the case of the latter, which is like getting other artists to redesign your OCs, it could be either like an art jam or an art contest. Me personally, I just go with the former because I have no idea what the hell to give for fucking like redesigning my characters of all things. Now again, like the latter portion of the redesign events is kind of the one I made the fuck up. So if you kind of just, you know, want to go with the flow of like you redesigning like other people's OCs, that is also your prerogative. Like whichever path you choose, it's your prerogative. And now we get to the next event that I'm sure a lot of people within the art community is probably like the most familiar with. And that is the Draw This in Your Style Challenge, or DTIYS for short. I'm sure if you have been in the art community for the past 6 to 7 years, you probably know what this is. But in short, it is something that the artists themselves host, whether it's like an art of their OC or a specific art piece of their OC, and say something along the lines of like, "Hey yo, wanna participate? Draw this art piece of the character in your style." And as such, the participants of the event do just that. They draw the character or redraw the exact art piece, but in their style. Now, this is something that I have participated in myself for the past year or so. And it's also something I want to host myself one of these days, actually. This is one of the few happy mediums of like, you know, other artists drawing for you, well, you draw for the other artist, basically. And heck, the few times I've joined one of the Draw This in Your Style challenges, they are usually contests. I may have not, like, won the first one, but at the very least, I won a participation prize in the second one. At least the second one I joined. But yeah, it has the perfect opportunity of drawing for another artist, so yippee-yo! Now, here's a funny one. Art Telephone. So, you know the game of telephone where you try to tell one information to one person, and they try to tell the next person the same information that you gave, but with some omitted details and some additions that weren't there initially, and with the cycle just like continuing, things just ended up being lost in translation, being way different from the original message. So Art Telephone is like that, but with art. Yeah, in the case of Art Telephone, one person draws one art piece and it continues with other artists, but then it just continues to morph until it no longer is like it's like no longer the same character, basically. I have participated in like 2 to 3 art telephones, and truth be told, they were like a lot of fun. One thing I would love to do that's actually kind of unorthodox for something like art telephone is where This is gonna sound really stupid, but hear me out. It's like one person draws for the character, and the person tries to describe the character, or describe what the character is like, and then the next person tries to voice the character, and then the next person tries to design the character based off the voice. Sounds stupid, I know, but it'd be really hilarious. Though, I guess I wouldn't really recommend it for those with aphantasia, though. Unless they themselves are the artists. But yeah, that's another idea for an artistic event, so yippee! And now we get to the second to last option, which is static art collabs. This one is a little hard to explain, but I'll try my best to explain it to the best of my abilities. So essentially, these are the type of events where you draw your own OC in regards to a theme of the event, making sure that the art of the OC that you draw is a transfer PNG, but you know, just doing that on top of that. And said transparent art of the OC will be used to be inserted into a background, and it will be in relation to the theme of the event, basically. And the other participants of the event should, you know, do the same, like draw like transparent art of their OCs. Here's an example of what I mean. This was a Halloween event in Fanime Castle a few years back. I will say that I used to be part of a DeviantArt group that used to host events like this like every month. Keyword being used to. Why? Well, before they stopped, COVID had kind of hit the scene and we ended up dealing with the pandemic. So, you know, it all sucked for everybody. That said, even with the pandemic kind of being over, though we still have to worry about COVID, the group is basically dead just because of, like, A, DeviantArt being how it is, with Eclipse being the first factor, and it was way before shit got really bad, and B, the person who ran the group was called out to be an awful person. Unrelated to the group, mind you, but you know. So even if DeviantArt wasn't shitting the bed, the group would still be dead anyways. Now, with all that said, I did try my best to host this type of event back in 2022 when I tried to make events like this back in my, at the time, Discord server. Sadly, I lost motivation back in 2023, which caused my server to die a slow, mediocre death. So yeah, sadly, events like this are not too common these days from what I'm seeing. It's not to say that they aren't a thing in recent times, but they are practically diamonds in the roughs. So really, if you cannot really find something like this, it's probably best that you or a fellow friend can host. And finally, medium-specific events. This is for those that want to focus on their own corner when it comes to making art for themselves, or at the very least, with a team that they made. And by that I mean small as hell team. Like with OCTs though, the idea of events like this aren't limited to just drawing. Like, I know the name of this section is like vague as all hell, I get it. So I am going to list off some examples of either the types of events or even some names of one of them really. Firstly, game jams. Itch.io has plenty of them. I remember like one game jam that I joined was NaNoWriMo in 2022. Secondly, animation challenges. For a more popular example, I know that there was a thing back in Twitter where there was like trying to animate for 1 hour per week or something. I remember that was a thing back then. Also, so many fanime challenges. So many goddamn fanime challenges! Number 3, comic contests. Honestly, I think like the silent manga edition is kind of like the best example that I could bring up when it comes to this category. And finally from the list of examples, there's also NaNoWriMo, which is basically a main writing event, really. I could go on and on and on and on and on about these events, but I think you get the picture. Basically, the reason why events like these are like hosted is to get some people's creative juices flowing, really. And as I said, it's not limited to just drawing. Hell, in cases like NaNoWriMo, no drawn art has to be present for the story, actually. For some, it could be like a good chance for those that want to get their projects going, or at the very least, just do a bit of practice in the case of like the weekly 1 hour animation challenge. And while these particular events aren't exactly known, I'm pretty sure there are some cases where some events like this are just not limited to one medium, actually. As a bit of an example, there are 2 streamers where I've kind of been familiar with for quite a while due to one friend of mine. Anyways, they kind of hosted like an event where viewers had to make their own creepypastas in relation to them and, well, their streams. And it seems that some of the submissions have like a variety of like works actually. From what I remember from the VOD, there are some submissions that are just like a written work, one that was just like an HTML site page, and one that's just like a kinetic comedic horror visual novel. That last one was the one that my friend made actually. And truth be told, I want to host events like this where I have like other people like put like multiple mediums within one submission thing, if you catch my drift. And I do want to go about with like either two things. One is like what I talked about in one of my previous videos, where it's just like either a fan project or spiritual successor for 7 guidances. Or have an event where somebody makes their own Jissy Ava inspired project, because I have 2 people within my vicinity that actually has an idea for an Jissy Ava style project. I could go with a 2 nickels joke, but I feel like that's kind of like overblown even if I did it again in one of the servers I'm in. And while one could make the argument that I could just make it a fanime challenge, I know that there's some people that aren't really active in the fanime community anymore, or at the very least, aren't in the community anymore, so I want to make it fair for those that, you know, fit in those categories really. And plus, with the Jissy Ava style project, or the 7 guidances one, I want to host it more like Suno Fest rather than like a typical fanime challenge, or comparing it to another game gen, NaNoRenO. Why? Because, you know, I do want to give some people a chance to work on their projects prior to the event, i.e. giving some people some room to fucking breathe. Listen, I like NaNoRenO, and I do like the fact that I was able to get my visual novel The 3 Doors done, but I did kind of stress myself out near the end, even if it wasn't, even if it was just like a couple of days, like, earlier. But yeah, no, in short, that is like the last type of event that I want to bring up for, you know, like, artistic events. Like, outside of art fights. And that is all she wrote, woohoo! Now, I could go on, and on, and on, and on, and on, about, like, a lot of other artistic events that you could do outside of art fight, and events similar of its ilk. And there's some events that I have yet to discuss about, but I think you probably got the memo! The main point that I do want to illustrate with this video is that there are plenty of other fun events you could do, like even outside of the stuff that I mentioned, really. I mean, hell, there's some things that I have not listed here that I want to try, like doing the thing of like a story trade idea, or like setting up a visual novel that other people could write story as like story routes, which would fit into like to the main VN, really. As long as there's like a set theme for said VN. However, I don't know if they really count as events that anyone can do, but it's something that I would like to do personally for myself in the future. But yeah, all in all, I do hope that, you know, you find something out of this video, really. Or even think of something outside of the box, for sure. Now, as I mentioned earlier, despite my gripes, I do like participating in art fight because I still think the event is fun at points. It's just that I know that not everyone feels the same way, and some of my friends even has issues with how the site is handled. 2 of which have deleted their accounts. So, oops. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I even made this video, like, at all. I want to make it fair for these people that I've, you know, mentioned here, as well as those that, you know, like art fight, but, you know, they hunger for more art events, really. But I will say, this is not exactly a diss towards art fight. I understand why it's popular, especially since, you know, it's a site, and all the events that I've mentioned don't really have a set site, unless you're itch.io. But at the very least, I do hope that I give some ideas for y'all. And with that, that is that. This is Chibi Jissy of YouTube signing out. Goodbye!